Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News. Now, being August, it continues to be a slow news cycle coming out of Hollywood, but I do have two headlines I think are worth discussing today, and also to fill out the episode, I'm going to answer two of your questions from the comment section on Friday's Morning Movie News. So let's start out with the headlines. Just like Steve Jobs was, there was a race to get a film about him to the silver screen, and of course the Ashton Kutcher pick won and hit theaters this weekend. Not too much fanfare, as you'll see discussed on Movie Math later today. But the race continues, pun intended, for the Lance Armstrong biography to hit the silver screen. And there are a couple films that are in this race. The one that's pulling out in front is from Warner Brothers. And that's an interesting project. It looks like Jay Roach will be directing. Jay Roach obviously is most famous for directing the Austin Powers films, but he's really gotten a lot of prestige and respect as a director as he's moved into politics for doing some HBO films like Recount and Game Change. So I think that it'll be interesting to see him try and take that reputation and swing back to the silver screen. Writing that film will be Scott Burns, and he works with Soderbergh a lot. He wrote Side Effects, and I got the chance to interview him on that red carpet, actually, and I have a lot of respect for him. I think he really cares a lot about his product. I think he delivers, so I think that's a good team, Jay Roach and Scott Burns. Now, Bradley Cooper is also in talks not only to produce, but to star. Now, the question that remains is who he'll play. He's deciding between Lance Armstrong and also Tyler Hamilton, Lance Armstrong's cycling teammate, who ended up being a whistleblower for him. I mean, I don't know about you, but I remember watching his very famous 60 Minutes interview where he came out and publicly said, Lance Armstrong has been lying all along. He is using, steroids and doping or whatever the terminology is in cycling. Now, Cooper, I don't know what your management team is telling you. I don't even know why this is a debate. Obviously, you should play Lance Armstrong. That's the juicy role. That's the one that has a tremendous character arc, and you kind of look like the guy. And also, it would be wonderful to see you come full circle. If you want the gold, that's the role. Because let's remember, Bradley Cooper got his start playing the unlikable guy, the jerk. And that's what Lance Armstrong has become. So I think it would be really fascinating, now that Cooper has like this respect as an actor, thanks to Silver Linings Playbook, to see him, take that, add everything together, and kind of have this tour de force about this movie about the villain of Tour de France. Now, I can understand maybe his trepidation about playing Lance Armstrong, considering Lance Armstrong is so disliked. Now, I mean, like, you're playing really like a villain. There really is no sympathy card here. Maybe you can find one, maybe the script will find one, but I think it'll be difficult. But still, sometimes that's the great challenge, making an unlikable character compelling. And I just think it's a perfect role for him, and I think this coming full circle is a good narrative. So often, winning the Oscar is not just about the work that you did in the film and on screen, but the story that's going to be told by the media when you win that Oscar. I think that's one of the reasons that Jennifer Lawrence beat him out for Silver Linings Playbook. They tend to divide the Oscars up by movie, and they're like, okay, well, we'll award Silver Linings Playbook by giving Jennifer Lawrence an Oscar, and they kind of do it that way. And I think that they liked awarding someone who, got her start with, the Winter's Bone nomination, and I think the Oscars just felt it was her time, and Bradley Cooper just wasn't as good a story. But this, I think, is a great story. So, Cooper, Armstrong, that's the role. Take it. The other people that are, pedaling behind this picture are, there's apparently a Stephen Frears Ben Foster Lance Armstrong movie in the works. I love Ben Foster. I'm a fan of his work, but I have to say, even though he's categorized as a character actor, Ben Foster only plays Ben Foster. I've never seen him disappear into a role, and he just doesn't say Lance Armstrong to me. That said, though, he also specializes in playing unlikable characters. But I don't think it's particularly compelling with him in the lead role, and I think that a Cooper, Roach, Burns pick could easily beat them out. Also, J.J. Abrams was said to be in the mix, and even interestingly had approached Cooper to play Armstrong. But I think J.J. Abrams, with these other two films going forward, it's not worth his time to pursue this, especially since his plate is so full. Some might say dangerously full. He's in danger of, falling off the plate and losing it. But, he not only has the new Star Wars film, obviously, but he has a third Star Trek reboot. And also Mission Impossible 5 that he's producing. He's very, very busy. Let someone else handle this Lance Armstrong film. All right, so that's the first news story of the day. The second is also about actors producing. Now, Bradley Cooper, he's gonna be producing this Lance Armstrong biography, but also Leonardo DiCaprio produces a lot of films. He started to do that, and a lot of times he doesn't star, particularly in the horror films that he produces. For instance, he produced Orphan quite successfully. So he wants to make a Twilight Zone movie, and I think that's a great idea. I think that's obviously a great franchise, great name recognition. But interestingly, he's chosen Joseph Kosinski, the guy who did Tron Legacy, and also Oblivion to direct. So, you know the movie's going to have a lot of plot holes, because that's kind of what this guy's famous for. But it'll be a beautiful ad for IKEA. I think Joseph Kosinski is all visual, no heart, no content. I know a lot of you and I disagreed about whether or not Oblivion was a good movie. I really thought it was horrible. We did a crew review for that, actually, and we all disliked it. And I thought I had major problems with Tron Legacy. I felt as soon as they drove out of that arena, the movie fell apart. So, I mean, and they said they're reworking the script for Kosinski, and I'd be like, why would anybody do that? Kosinski has horrible script ideas. But I do like DiCaprio. I think he knows what he's doing, and I think it would be hard to mess up the Twilight Zone brand. It's just so strong. So hopefully we get a good movie out of it. I mean, I do like Kosinski's visuals, so if he could marry those good visuals with good storytelling, which is kind of what filmmaking is all about, then we'd have a winner there. But at least we're getting another Twilight Zone movie, and I guess it couldn't be any worse than the first Twilight Zone movie, so there. All right, so those are the two stories of the day. Now, the two questions. The first is from Graham Harwell. Graham, hi. I see your comments a lot here on the videos from Beyond the Trailer. Thank you. And Graham wants to know what I think about the rumors. It's a rumor again. Tons of rumors right now because there are no news stories coming out of Hollywood. This is a rumor that Obi-Wan Kenobi will be returning for Star Wars Episode 7, and that Ewan McGregor will play him. How do I feel about this? I have mixed thoughts. Now, as I've said before, I absolutely love the second phase of Ewan McGregor's career. I have become such a big Ewan McGregor fan. I think he's fantastic. Really like the guy. I also interviewed him for The Impossible. Super nice and impressive in real life. I was like, I was right to like you, Ewan McGregor. You're awesome. And I did kind of like him in the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequels. But I have to say, and also I guess they're using him because in the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series, they built their Obi-Wan Kenobi off of that. So you have a very large generation of people, of moviegoers, who associate Ewan McGregor with the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi. However, I have a problem with this, and that I really feel that they're erasing the memory of what Alec Guinness contributed to the role. Alec Guinness is one of the greatest actors of all time. Truly fantastic. I mean, if you haven't seen his films, go watch them. He's so amazingly talented. And for him to do Star Wars at the time that it was made was a huge help to the film. It grounded it. It gave it respectability. So he did George Lucas it ended up being pretty nice for Alec Guinness as well, but at the time that he signed on for Star Wars, Alec Guinness did a tremendous favor for George Lucas in helping that film, get made in Hollywood and lending his credibility and star power to the role. So to kind of slowly wipe him out, the work that he did, is frustrating for me. Because, obviously these new films take place after Star Wars 4, 5, and 6. They're sequels. So Alec Guinness should be the one. I mean, apparently the rumor is that this will be the ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi visiting, and apparently they're all going to de-age, just like Hayden Christensen was replaced for the Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, flashbacks. Now they're going to start bringing Ewan McGregor, and I just feel, it's a huge disrespect to what Alec Guinness did, and I'm against it. As much as I love Ewan McGregor, I gotta say, he didn't originate the role. He only, helped flush it out. But going forward, I don't know. With all the great computer technology they have, they could bring back Alec. I see no reason why they couldn't do that. So that's how I feel about that. Also, I would hate to see these new Star Wars movies just become like a greatest hits compilation, where they're like, hey, look who's back! Oh, are you excited to see this guy? I mean, having a little bit of that would be nice, and I am very much in favor of bringing back the original 3 stars, Ford, Fisher, and Hamill, considering the fact they're all still around. But, I don't want this to, as I said, I don't want it to be a greatest hits either, and I think J.J. Abrams has had problems with that with the new Star Trek reboot, and that he relies so heavily on referencing the original films. It's like, pay your homage, bring it in organically, but let's tell some new stories. Alright, so that's the first question. The second one is from Ranjit2194 in London, who has been very nice. He said he's spreading the word about BTT. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Ranjit. And he wants to know what my thoughts are about piracy affecting Hollywood. And he says they're still able to spend ridiculous amounts of money on films and actors, such as Robert Downey Jr. And Rajit says, I have strongly been against piracy my whole life and try to encourage others not to do it. But I've always wondered how badly it actually affects Hollywood. It affects Hollywood tremendously. It's horrible. It not only affects Hollywood like the Suits, but it also really trickles down the most and it hurts people the most, who are the people who actually work on films. That's why you'll see at the beginning they started appealing to that, sense of morality when they say, X number of people worked on this movie, and when you pirate it, you are hurting their ability to work in the future. And that is the case. I think piracy is worse on television because it's small screen to small screen. I think piracy wouldn't be so bad if there wasn't this animosity that develops towards the quality of the content coming out of Hollywood. I think that if people went to a movie theater, paid the huge amount of money that they're asked to pay, in New York it's $14.50 for just a plain straight movie, no 3D or IMAX. But if they went in and they felt they got their money's worth consistently, they wouldn't be as compelled to illegally download it, because they would feel that they got their money's worth. I think where you're getting this illegal downloading is that people are like, you know what, you're asking for so much money and you're not giving my money's worth, I'm going to find a workaround, because I still kind of want to see what you did, I like the characters, I'm curious, but I'm not paying that much money. So I think Hollywood is equally to blame because of this subpar films they're putting out. I mean, it used to be that you could go to a film and every film coming out of Hollywood was at least good. I mean, they weren't all great, but you could you had a good time. You left the theater satisfied. And as I've talked about, and we've been talking about more and more, you leave the theater and you're like, I can't believe I wasted my evening. I can't believe I wasted months being excited about that. And I think we're seeing a little bit of a turnaround. I think we're seeing some good films, but I think that, overall Hollywood really needs to fix this problem. And it begins, as I keep saying, with the script. So, Ranjit, I'm telling you, I agree. You should be against piracy. It hurts Hollywood, but I think that Hollywood has to accept responsibility. They're not giving people their money's worth, and that's what's leading to a lot of people who maybe normally wouldn't download a film illegally to do it after all. So that's today's morning movie news. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what you'd like to see covered tomorrow and any questions you might have. Thanks for watching. Bye.